Okay, today I'm going to be making gingerbread from a recipe in this cookbook from 1917. So here is the cookbook. I believe it's on page 84 or 85. Let's skip to the recipe. It's 63, 73, 79, 80, 83. It's on the next page. There it is. So it does not give a time or a temperature to bake this at, but on this gingerbread recipe, it says cook in a moderate oven for 30 to 45 minutes. A moderate oven is 350. So I have all my ingredients set out, and I guess first things first, I'm going to preheat the oven. So we want it at a moderate oven. Okay, so 375 is a hot oven, so moderate is between 350 and 300. So we'll do 350. Okay, now I'm going to light the oven. Okay, I'm going to attempt to do this one-handed. I'm holding the camera with one hand.
Early in the morning, how I chuckle with glee, because the sun is at my window, throwing kisses at me. And when I'm holding up the awning,
Okay.
I'm so happy and
So the recipe says mix together 1 cup of molasses, 1/2 a cup of sugar, 1/3 a cup of butter or lard. We'll use butter. Unless I don't have any, then we'll use lard. Sift 2 1/2 cups of flour with 2 teaspoons of soda, 1 tablespoon of ginger, 1/2 teaspoon each of cloves and cinnamon, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Stir together well with 1 cup of boiling water. Hastily or quickly stir in 2 well-beaten eggs. This is very thin, but do not add more flour. May be baked in gem pans or layers. If Larkin wax paper is cut to fit the bottom of the cake tins after they are greased, the cake will not stick. As this is a very soft cake, let it cool before removing from the pans. Cover with plain white frosting. Will remain moist for 2 weeks. And there's the lady who wrote this recipe. So I guess first we'll beat 2 eggs in this small little bowl right here. That way they're already beaten and ready to add. So I've actually decided before I beat the eggs, I'm going to put 1 cup of water in here and start it boiling. So that way it's already boiling by the time we need to add it to this mixture, or it's close to boiling. Okay, let us now add the eggs to this bowl and beat them. Okay, the eggs are beaten. Now let's start on the main mixture. So we're going to start with 1 cup of molasses. Now we're going to add 1/2 cup of sugar to this molasses. Okay, I've added 1/2 cup of sugar to the 1 cup of lard. Now it says add 1/3 a cup of butter or lard. I do not have any butter, so I'm going to be using some lard. So an interesting and random tip, you can tell your lard is good if it tastes neutral. So if it doesn't really have a taste and if it doesn't smell rancid. And also bacon grease is lard, but it's flavored by the bacon. So it's not the best type of lard. The best type of lard comes from the leaf fat or the back fat, I believe. And yes, lard comes from pigs. It's pig fat. Now it says to sift in 2 1/2 cups of flour with 2 teaspoons of soda. Okay, now we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of ginger and 1/2 teaspoon each of cinnamon and cloves. Okay, let me get the ginger out of the fridge. There it is. Ooh, I need to defrost this fridge. Okay, now I'm going to run the ginger over this grater and I will get about a tablespoon of ginger. Okay, that's a little more than a tablespoon, so I'll measure out a tablespoon out of that. Okay, I've added the ginger, cinnamon, and cloves. Now I'm going to add in 1/2 a teaspoon of salt. Okay, before I finish mixing everything, it says to bake this in a gem pan. What does it say? Right there, a gem pan or layers. A gem pan is basically an old-fashioned muffin pan. So I've got this muffin pan. I'm going to actually grease each one of these, and then I will finish making that and we'll pour it in there and then we'll bake it. Okay, so ideally I'd use those little bitty muffin paper things, but I don't have any. It says if Larkin wax paper is cut to fit the bottom of the cake tins after they are greased, the cake will not stick, as this is a very soft cake. But I don't have any muffin paper, so they're just gonna have to stick, I guess. Okay, let's pour our boiling water into this and then add our eggs quickly after that. Okay, everything is mixed together. Now I just have to put it in this muffin pan, or gem pan as it calls it. I tasted the batter on my finger and it was good. If I do say so myself, it's the best gingerbread I've ever had. Okay, so I didn't put the gingerbread perfectly in this muffin pan and there were 2 extra spaces, but it's going to turn out good. Now I'm going to put it in the oven. So I'll keep my eye on this, but it says to bake it about 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, it's been almost 30 minutes. Let's check. Yes, they're done. Okay. And there is our gingerbread. So I tasted the gingerbread. It's not very sweet, but it did recommend putting icing or frosting on it in the book. So I whipped up some simple buttercream icing or frosting. I didn't use a recipe. I just used a little bit of butter and some powdered sugar, and I added some vanilla extract, and then I drizzled it on the top of it. Now let's let my grandma try this and tell me what she thinks. So my grandma is actually next door at my uncle's house, so we'll go there and take it to her and see what she thinks. Go ahead. Is it really good?